Imagine a past so painful that it refuses to stay buried. A story where history does not just haunt, it breathes, it lingers, it takes form. Today we'll discuss Toni Morrison's Beloved, a novel that does not just tell a story, but unearths the trauma, love, and haunting echoes of slavery. What happens when the past refuses to let go? Beloved was written by Toni Morrison and was published in 1987. It is based on real historical events and it is inspired by the true story of Margaret Garner, an enslaved woman who escaped slavery in 1856. When slave catchers tried to take her back, she killed her own daughter rather than let her return to slavery. The novel is set in 1873, just after the American Civil War when slavery had ended, but former slaves still faced racism, poverty, and emotional wounds from their past. Now, Morrison wrote this novel because she wanted to give a voice to those who suffered under slavery. Many history books focused on facts and numbers and ignored the personal experiences and emotions of enslaved people. And through shared stories, that is the protagonist, Morrison brings out the deep scars slavery left on individuals and communities. Now, before delving into the novel, you need to know about the American Civil War. The American Civil War took place from 1861 to 1865 in the United States. It was fought between two groups, the northern states and the southern states. The northern states called the Union, which opposed slavery, and the southern states called the Confederacy, which wanted to keep slavery legal. Now, why did this war happen? For many years, the northern and the southern states had different views on slavery. The South depended on enslaved laborers to work on plantations and farms, while the North was moving towards an industrial economy and did not rely on slavery. Now, the main conflict was whether slavery should continue in the United States. When Abraham Lincoln was elected as president in 1860, many southern states feared that he would end slavery. So they broke away from the United States and formed their own country called the Confederacy. And this led to the war. The war lasted for 4 years with many bloody battles and over 6 lakh people died. In 1863, President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared that enslaved people in the rebellious states were now free. However, true freedom only came when the North won the war in 1865. Although slavery was officially abolished with the 13th Amendment to the US Constitution, former slaves still faced racism, discrimination, and violence. Many were left without land, jobs, or legal rights. And this period after the war was called Reconstruction, that is the period from 1865 to 1877. So even though slavery was over, African Americans continued to struggle for equality and justice for many years. And this is why stories like Beloved are important. They show how the pain of slavery did not end with freedom.